What you think about that, dude?
Oh, this is so epic, bro.
All right,
Yes, sir.
here we are, Joshua Tree.
National Park.
So what do you love about Joshua Tree in the desert?
It's weird out here, man.
So we know a lot of people that live in the desert. And I've always kind of wondered, like, do weird people move to the desert or do they go to the desert and get weird? And when I ask that to the people that are friends that live in the desert, they're like, it's a little bit of both. We're a little strange, and then we move to the desert and we get a little bit stranger.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not being judgy about this. I'm not saying weird's bad, because I like weird because it makes life more interesting.
Yeah.
But on a scale of 1 to weird, Joshua Tree is pretty weird.
Yeah.
If you've been here, you know what we're talking about. You know, the art that you see and the weird things on the side of the road, definitely weird, and the people that make it even weirder.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself out here, go to like the laundromat, go to the library, and you'll get what we're talking about. However, this story is exceptionally weird.
Yes.
And I am a music fan, and I like mysteries, and we are loosely tied to this in a kind of a weird way.
Yeah.
So Gram Parsons, genius in his own right. He was like kind of the first person to really kind of mix rock and country. And he was a bit of a trust fund baby, but he used to hang out with like Keith Richards and that sort of crowd. So he was living pretty loose and fancy free. Let's just put it that way, especially when you have a $300,000 a year stipend to kind of just spend on booze and whatever else you want. So anyways, brilliant musician. But this story is a bit kind of dark. And so the story about him is he was at a funeral and he was watching this like Roman Catholic funeral, very, very dry. And he was like, man, if I pass away, and he turns to his manager, he's like, if I pass away, don't let this happen to me. So the guy's name is Phil Kaufman. That's his road manager, his buddy, his drinking buddy, his caretaker, all that stuff. So he's like, all right, I got you on that. He goes, I want you to take me out to Joshua Tree and just cremate me, set me on fire. And we've always kind of talked about us being cremated and out and done, you know, left out in a national park. But this is the most rock and roll fashion that they do it. So turns out Gram Parsons dies shortly thereafter, like a month later, in Joshua Tree at the Joshua Tree Inn, room number 8, overdoses, and they take his body to LA. It was going to get shipped back to his stepfather in New Orleans, and his road manager borrows a hearse, packs it full of booze, and goes and kidnaps the body naps him, takes him out to the desert, stops off at Cabazon Dinosaurs, picks up 5 gallons of high-test, high-octane gasoline, is so wasted, he comes out here to Joshua Tree, and he just pulls over because he's too drunk to go any further, pulls over, him and another guy take the casket out, they open up the casket, pour 5 gallons of gasoline in there, and light a match and set him on fire. So where this happened is right kind of where we're standing right now. Now everybody thinks that it happened right back here, but it's not. And here's how we get connected to this story. So in my research of trying to figure out exactly where this happened, I found an article, and this guy ended up meeting with Phil Kaufman, his road manager. And he met him in 2014. And in 2014, we happened to be in Joshua Tree at a show in Pioneer Town in Pappy and Harriet's. Now, if you know of Pappy and Harriet's, this is like an 800-person capacity venue. Outdoors, it's like wide open. You see the night sky, the desert sky. It's absolutely amazing. So we went and saw Hank 3 in September of 2014. Which is the 41-year anniversary because he died and was burned here in September of 1973. So he meets Phil Kaufman to try and figure out the actual location of where this act happened. And we were at that same venue. And you couldn't really miss this guy. I mean, he's a rock and roll legend manager. He had his shirt on that had like a picture of him, and he was like, you know, he was a very distinct looking fella. And my memory was a little hazy from that night, but I'm fairly certain you can't really forget someone like that. And I think I may remember that guy because there's been movies about it. If you see the movie Gram Parsons, there's a few documentaries about it. This guy's all over it, and he looks like a rock and roll road manager. So he actually brought the guy out here and showed him exactly the spot of where it happened. Now, the spot where everybody thinks it happened is not actually the spot because the roads that are around here didn't exist at that time. We were able to actually find the old roads that went through with the remnants of it anyways. And there's nothing special about Cap Rock. Phil said he was just too drunk to keep going. So, and it seemed to be a sensible place to pull over and pull the body out. Now, they didn't actually like haul the body around. They just lit it on fire. So I think we actually found it, and we found old rusty bottle caps from probably 50 years ago. So mission solved?
I'd say so.
All right. So also as a side note, we did get people do graffiti where they think this act actually happened. Please don't do that. All right, we saw a little bit of it. The Park Service is pretty good on making sure it's cleaned up, but the process of doing that requires a fair amount of heavy duty chemicals. So it's not good for the environment. It's not good for the people that have to do it. So don't do it. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, so we were trying to find actually a specific rock. There is a very distinct rock where that was next to the casket when it burned, and we were trying to find it. We have kind of loose details on it, so we're gonna keep looking. If we find it, we'll let you know, but we've already made a few passes at it, and I'm not all that interested in finding it. So
Yeah, I mean, we found the bottle cap. That was pretty cool.
yeah, I think the bottle cap,
The bottle cap is...
that's hard evidence.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a top pocket find.
Yeah, and we were super sleuths on that. I was walking and I was like, oh, there's a bottle cap. And then you pulled up the map, you're like, yeah, this is probably where it happened. I was like, well, that beer was part of the party.
Yeah. So we're not going to show you where we actually found this area. The clues are out there. The truth is out there. But, I mean, it's like, from the description from the guy that actually did it himself, it's not here. And if you actually look where the road is, I thought to myself, if I was going to burn a body, where would I do it? And it wasn't a clearing. It wasn't near the rock. It was kind of near it, but not really near it. But it just made sense that would be the place to be. And that's where we found the bottle cap.
Yeah.
And that looked like a 50-year-old bottle cap.
Yeah, I mean, judging by the cans and stuff we've seen out in the desert.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's in the wheelhouse.
So we did leave it there because you're not supposed to take anything from Joshua Tree.
Correct.
And you know what? You can go find it yourself. Mrs. Williams,
Good morning.
where are we at, big dog?
Joshua Tree National Park.
All right.
Black Rock Campground.
Fantastic. You can tell by the generators.
Yeah. Welcome to Joshua Tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.